What's up, guys? It's Mr. Fit to Flourish. Welcome to the Fit to Flourish podcast. I thought that I'd start some daily review on SPY since I review SPY every day anyways, and a lot of people on TikTok and on Instagram were asking me to do a daily review, so here it is. Let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen and go over how I review SPY on a day-to-day basis. Here we go. So on SPY, today is May 13th, since I always miss the time. So this is SPY on the 5-minute time frame. So we gapped up to the upside and sold off pretty immediately. I like to look at Saudi ATR levels. So ATR levels are average true ranges, and it basically shows you the average range that a stock typically moves. So how far a stock typically moves, and it gives you a lot of good insight. So this blue line is the call zone. So if you get above it, you want to buy calls in terms of options, but we broke below immediately. So that's a good sign typically on SPY, and you could just take a trade here, get puts here. But what I like to do is I like to wait a little bit. So I'll show you my strategy in a second. But when SPY gaps up this ridiculously, what it likes to do is a mean retracement. So SPY moves its price back to VWAP, which is this pink line. So price moved down to the pink line and it bounced. And then what I like to do when I'm reviewing my charts is I like to mark the 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. reversal times. So the first would be here. That's going to be your 10 a.m. and then 11 a.m. is right over here. So 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. are market-wide reversal times. So every day, 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., you typically get a reversal or a massive movement in price. I just mark them anyways. Nothing really happened in that sense today. Well, you can see here we try to push to the upside, then we reverse back down. But like I said, SPY gap to the upside. We had a major sell-off in the morning, bounced to VWAP, or got to VWAP, bounced, and then we consolidated for just a little bit. And then we had a breakdown in consolidation here and a break to the downside. And then we consolidated one more time here. Consolidated one more time here and moved to the downside again. And my entry was over here. I like to wait for right here. So I like to wait for VWAP. So the anchored volume weighted average price. I like to wait for VWAP to cross below the 20 MA. So this yellow line is the 20 exponential moving average. And I waited for that move before getting in. So got in there. We had a move back to the upside here and then a reject. And then we sold off quite a bit over here. So took off some contracts down here. But then as you can see, we had buyers step in. As you can see by the massive wick, buyers step in, bouncing off of the 100 MA. This gray line is the close of the previous day. Anyways, we had a move back to the upside. We had a lot of resistance here around the 521.40 level, and then pretty much around the 521.40, 521.34 level. So we flattened out here. I like to draw lines a lot. So if you draw a line here, you can see a ton of resistance over here. And then we ended up selling off even more dramatically contracts. The contracts that I got were 515 strike price, 514 expiration date. So 1 DTE contracts. And they ended up going about 52% here. They went about 45% here and then down to 52% here again. We sold off all the way down here. And then what you notice here is SPY likes to do this thing. I call it a slingshot doji. We get a micro double bottom here. Why is it a micro double bottom? Because it's a double bottom right next to each other. So you have a close and then an open. And then we have a massive wick at the bottom. And I call this right here a slingshot doji. So this doji, whenever it forms on SPY, you want to get in on longs because it usually rips. But today was kind of a weird day. But anyways, this would be a good long entry. I didn't take it because we're not respecting my system and my rules. Anyways, we moved back to the upside and we try to do a retest of this support level, which is the close of the previous day. We sold off at that support, rejecting off of the 20 MA. As you can see, the pink line VWAP did not reclaim the 20 MA here, so it's not good for longs. So then we sold off here, and then towards the end of the day, we just kind of consolidated, and it was just kind of trash. But anyways, the good takes were pretty much here, the break below when VWAP crossed over the 20 to the downside, and then we pretty much held and then consolidated and sold off. So that is that. If we look at the 2-hour time frame, let's go to the 2-hour time frame. Let's take off the ATRs. Let's try to make a prediction for tomorrow, 5/14. So Jerome Powell is going to be speaking tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we also have PPI coming in tomorrow. So let's take a look at what we think is going to be happening tomorrow. So it looks like we've been holding VWAP on the 2-hour time frame. It looks like we have buyers below around 519.73, so that's pretty good support, 519.73. But we are kind of consolidating here. We could rip to either side. We could rip to the downside or the upside. Looks like we already rejected these highs twice. So we rejected this high twice, and you could tell by this top side wick here that we have a lot of sellers up top here, and you can tell that as well because today when we opened up in this area, what happened? We sold off in this area of wicks, this area of sellers. So this is actually the first time we formed a double top, a clear double top like that, since we've been moving to the upside on the 2-hour since the beginning of May. So since VWAP crossed over the 20 MA, this is the first time that we've formed a double top like this. So it's something to look out for tomorrow. I'm pretty much bearish unless we have a good print on PPI tomorrow and unless Jerome Powell pushes the market up somehow. But if it comes in good, then we'll actually end up flying and testing 524, testing all-time highs. But if not, then I think we're going to get a VWAP break here and a move to the downside, especially with sellers above. So let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. It's the Fit to Flourish podcast, and I'm out.